not on, Mark. You gotta try it again. There you go.
Hey.
This is going to be a tough one. I thought Mark was a jazz musician for the first year or two.
I've thought that I was a jazz musician to this day. I still think that I am, but I know deep down that I'm not. And that's honestly kind of like my thing. It's kind of like what has made me into the musician I am. I don't think I would have the career that I have if I didn't have that, both sides. And the funny thing is that like I feel like where I am now, like all of my classical friends think I'm like this amazing jazz musician, and all of my jazz musician friends think I'm like this amazing classical musician who can like play some jazz. Neither of these things are true. I'm just
Good enough at both.
I'm good enough at both to pass.
To make a living. Which is all that really matters.
Yeah. No, I mean, come on. I'm selling myself. I'm being self-degrading, self-deprecating. Oh, it's really the same thing. But that's kind of, for me, it's worked out.
So just tell me a little bit about how you got into Imani.
You know, every woodwind player, like, worth his salt knows about Imani Wins. Like, I grew up knowing about them.
Yeah, I didn't know about them at all.
And I first heard them at Interlaken when I was like 15. They came and did like a...
Was it the same people that you're in it with right now?
Except for we have a new flutist. When I joined, it was all the original people for 2 years until Valerie Coleman left. And Brandon George took over. So I heard them first when I was like 15, and I was blown away by them. And then they came to Michigan, to UMS, when they were touring with Wayne Shorter's quartet.
What's UMS?
University Musical Society.
Oh, right, that was the thing. That was the...
Yeah, they played this concert at Hill Auditorium, and he had written them a wind quintet, which I've played, and it's really, really cool. Oh, here's the parallel parking. Yeah. See, you don't need no stinking backup camera. This is a good spot.
It's a good spot. All right, we're done.
To the place.
Have you guys eaten?
No.
All right, let's talk about Wolfpack. Okay.
How did you start? Why did you start playing with them, or how did that start happening?
Well, the first time I never played live with them until I had already made the recording.
But I mean, like, I know we both know them. So
Yeah.
how did you, like, what prompted them to reach out to you?
Okay,
What prompted you to reach out to them?
So Jack Stratton, who was, the drummer and frontman of Wolfpack, he had another band in Ann Arbor before Wolfpack started called Groove Spoon, and I jammed with them a few times and played a couple gigs with them when I was a student. I think I had actually met Jack even before then, but I was friends with Theo and Woody.
Right.
And I knew Joe a little bit. But that was my kind of intro to Jack and his world. And Jack is like really into the clarinet because he grew up playing klezmer music. His dad is a great klezmer clarinetist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think like just like my meeting Jack during that time in Michigan was kind of when it came time for him to write Back Pocket. I have no idea where he thought of the idea to have the clarinet trio, but he hit me up, and this was like 2013,
Right.
2014, saying, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And
Yeah, I remember when you got asked to do it.
yeah,
But was it? I mean, it was always supposed to be clarinet.
yeah. And I was such a moron and didn't know anything. He was like, "I want a trio of like clarinets in harmony," and I was like, I remember asking him in email like, "Wait, do you mean like just me playing a melody and then like pitch shifted in Logic like 2 times?" And he wrote back and he was like, no, 3 clarinets in harmony.
Yeah.
Like that's how little I knew. So yeah, but honestly, it was a really, it was a pretty like, when I did it, I had no idea what it was gonna.
Yeah, because that's like their biggest song.
Yeah, it's their. I would say it's their like their
like their
number
hit.
1 hit.
Yeah.
And just doing that, and then I started to play live with them when they like, when we're in New York at the same time, or there's been a few times where like, you know, we've been in the same town. Like I was in Chicago and New Orleans and Philly, like at the same time as them. So like it worked out a few times, but you know, so it's been
And you
cool.
guys, and you did the Garden with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We played in September, we played Madison Square Garden, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, I saw videos of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I actually wrote a new trio because they'd extended Back Pocket and like,
Oh, right.
and,
I
like,
saw that. You
changed the
had
keys.
and you had 2 other clarinet players.
I had 2 other clarinets, one of whom is Mike Winograd, who is the clarinetist on another Wolfpack album, and then my friend Chris Grimes, who's a great clarinetist and curator. He's like a fan of the band, so I thought it'd be cool to get him on it.
And so, how does that compare to like? I mean, what do you think about compared to like the stuff you do with like Imani? I mean, it's totally different,
Yeah,
but like equally as fulfilling musically.
yeah, I would say so. I mean, I don't like, you know, I take all genres of music. Like, I love all of them, and I take them all as seriously as I can. Not to say that I am, you know, like, I don't consider myself a jazz musician. Like, I don't feel like I've earned those stripes, you know? But when I try to play it, I take it as seriously as if I do. And people might say that, you know, I'm kind of, that there's something, I don't know, not legit about that, but to me, I just want to play the music that I love listening to, and I love, and more so than that, I want to play with people that I love being around.
Right.
Like, so in that sense, yeah, like Imani is an amazing thing for me, and like a family, and I love playing with them, and I love playing with the guys in Wolf, and I love playing with you guys and everything.
So when you had a Broadway show before, you started doing Imani, and you actually had to leave that show to do Imani, right?
Not really. It was an off-Broadway show at first.
But it became a Broadway show.
It became a Broadway show, but by that time it had been closed for over a year,
Right.
And they offered it to me because I was
The show.
Yeah, the show. When they
Right,
went to
yeah.
Broadway, they offered me the chair, and at that time I had already been playing with Imani Wins,
Right.
and so I had to like. The thing with Broadway is that there's these blackout periods before a show
Right.
opens, from like the tech rehearsals like through the previews. You can't leave. You have to be there for all the shows, and I couldn't make all of them, so I had to turn that down.
Do you ever wish I mean, not that Imani's, you know, not treating you well or anything like that, but I know you're like traveling a lot,
Yeah.
and you have a relatively new daughter. Do you ever wish that you
Didn't
made
have
the jump
a daughter?
to Broadway?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have a daughter, so you could be on the road all the time. No, and
Yeah,
you
no.
stayed in Broadway so you could be home.
No,
more.
I mean, no. The thing is, Broadway is cool, but it's always a gamble. I mean, that show ended up closing after a year.
yeah, but I
So-
mean, you know, there's always a possibility. I mean, I guess it's a possibility.
But that's what I'm
always.
saying. Then it's only just always a possibility. And I like subbing on Broadway. It's cool to sub,
Right.
you know? And if there was a chair that was offered to me that didn't conflict and I was able to do
To do both.
I would probably do it.
Yeah.
Because now I have a family and like, I don't know, I need bread.
And you were,
But I mean, it's, yeah.
you are teaching at Rutgers.
I teach at Rutgers and also as of this past September at Queens College.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which was cool. Yeah, I have. It's adjunct at both places.
Do you go to Queens?
Yeah, but it's
Oh, you
only.
live there.
It's like
You live
it
there.
literally takes like 10 minutes. I have sometimes the students do come to my place because I teach only on one day, and then at Rutgers, just not too much there. Just like a chamber group and a student.
How much of the teaching stuff do you accredit to like doing Imani? Because Imani is like a pretty high profile thing.
All
right?
of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Like all of your successes because of...
Yeah, a lot of. I mean, not everything that I do is because of them, but most things that in the classical world
Right.
that I've gotten has been because of that.
Did you want to do that? Was that like a thing that you thought you'd want to do? Like, was Imani ever a thing that you thought would be available to you, or something that you would like be able to be a part of? Or
Imani
could be a
Wins,
part of?
specifically that group.
Yeah. Because I know there's other chamber groups out there and stuff.
Yeah, that was never like on my radar. You
Right.
know, of like, oh, maybe one day I'll play with them. You know, like, but I mean, when it's funny because when they hit me up, actually, I actually was about to delete the email because the
Is that like a spam email?
The subject of the email was a message from Imani Wins, and I thought it was just like one of those e-blasts that you get. And I love Imani Wins, but I never read that.
Yeah, you're
stuff.
like, yeah, okay.
You know. So then I was like, "Hi, Mark," and it was like I saw that it was personal, and I read down, and it was like an invitation to audition.
Right.
That was 2015. So I was like, "What?"
How did they know to ask you?
So that's the thing. They were literally just cold Google searching and Facebook searching clarinet players. They were like typing in NYC clarinetist.
They didn't want to like hold auditions or anything?
No, they did eventually, but to get their initial pool of people
Oh.
that they were going to then invite. They didn't want to just like have
an open call.
like a cattle call, have like 100, 200 clarinet players show up.
So they like no one recommended you.
At first, they found me that way. Just they found my videos that I had made,
Right.
like 2015. Remember I made those,
No.
and they found my recording of the Copeland Concerto.
Oh
at that
yeah,
concert.
yeah.
And then they looked at my website and they found out that I studied with David Krakauer, who was actually a really close friend and like mentor to them. So then they called David and a couple other people and asked about me and like, you know.
But that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't like no one was like, you should ask Mark.
And that honestly is like because we do master classes and like Q&A type
Right.
stuff all over the country, and their kids are always asking like, how did you get that gig?
Right.
And I'm like, I put my music online.
Right.
And like, I mean, you guys, you know,
I don't have a gig
Paul
with
especially is like Renaissance man for that stuff. And as much as I don't like,
Paul makes a lot of money with
he
his
makes a lot of
music
money.
online.
Yeah, he does. But as much as I like, seriously though, as much as I don't really like the social media hustle, like I really don't like it, I wouldn't have the gig. And they've told me that. They're like, if you didn't have that stuff online, we probably
That's
wouldn't
crazy.
have found you. And so,
Because that like pretty much like changed.
yeah, it changed my
Everything.
career. Like overnight from, there was October, I think, of 2015 when they first hit me up. And then I submitted a video round
Right.
for auditions and took the live audition in December. And then January started playing with them. Because my life totally, like 2016 winter of, that was like the best year of my life because I got started with Imani and I got married.
Right. I mean, that kind of allowed you to do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I knew you before Imani, and like you couldn't have a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you were like everyone else that we know. You know, like
Yeah.
you know, like doing the best and getting by, and you know, like. And Imani like really
It still feels like
but like it elevated you to a place where you can have a kid and
Yeah.
you can like be able to afford like the health insurance and all the things that come with having a kid and a family and
Yeah.
I mean that's crazy just from like a cold call. Someone was just like
I mean, honestly, had I not made those recordings and invested that money, and I remember like it,
at the time
being like, ugh,
like
so
it cost
expensive.
it's like a couple
like,
grand or something like that.
yeah, I feel like, I don't know how much my dad dug the idea of
Right.
like spending money like that.
Right.
But it was an
But
investment.
now it's fine.
It paid off.
Yeah.
It definitely paid off.
Well, actually, I want to talk about a little bit what you did before you got successful. You did cruise ships, and then what did you do when you came here and you did?
So
your
after
masters?
I finished Michigan, I took a year off.
When did you move here?
I moved here in 2010, August 2010.
And you were doing cruise ships before then.
I did, yeah. I mean, I did one ship for a summer, the Queen Mary.
How was that?
It was awesome. It was between my junior and
Was
senior
it
year.
all awesome?
It was mostly awesome. For being young, it was great.
But you had to share a room with a guy.
There was one dude who was like this like older British dude, and he grinded his teeth so loudly that like his room was the size of that where Paul is sitting. Our whole
Right.
room. For
Right.
both of us and the bathroom. It was like that. And it actually perfectly, that's exactly how big it was. And he would grind his teeth so loudly that walking from like the deck, like under the deck to our room, like at sea, I could hear him like 4 or 5 doors away, like grinding his teeth
You slept with
for
him.
3 months.
You slept with him for 3 months.
Yeah. But the experience of playing on a cruise ship was really cool. And then I took a year off after Michigan, and I did that for like 4 or 5 months. And then that money I used to like when I moved to New
Move
York
here.
to help pay rent and
Right.
stuff. So
Would you do it again?
yes.
Would you really?
Yeah. Oh no, like now?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I thought you meant like if I were, you know.
No.
Yeah.
Like now.
No,
never again.
no. I mean, it's not something that I would do with like my life. But I'm not knocking it. I mean, most of the guys I played with, they do that for their whole career. Like, they made a living out of it.
So you moved to New York.
Yeah, to do my
In
master's.
2010 to do your master's at Manhattan School of Music
Yeah.
with me and Paul.
Hi, Paul.
That's how you met Paul.
Yeah.
What did you do after that? You did your master's in classical clarinet. Mm-hmm. What did you do? So, when did you get Imani? 2015?
2015, yeah. So there was
it was like
3.5
3 years.
years where before Imani, where I was just like trying to do it, trying to make it work. I mean, my first, right out of school, I worked for a couple months of the phone banks for the 2012 Obama.
That's right.
And then, like a month into that, I got the gig playing Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, which was the show that eventually went to Broadway.
Right.
But at that point, it was at Ars Nova, which is a great off-Broadway theater company.
But it wasn't paying very well.
And I paid like $300 a week or something for like 5 shows a week.
Right.
But it was like, I was like, this is amazing. Like I quit,
I
quit the phone bank job.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I was broke, but it's also like, me being broke is, it's different. Like I grew up like, middle class. Like I knew that I could move back to Ann Arbor.
And also,
if I really
we
wanted.
were broke in college.
Yeah,
so it's not
like
like it was new.
No. But no, it's different. Like I took that risk because I knew like I was not going to be destitute.
Right.
Like
right.
we're like
homeless.
We're super privileged.
That's where you met your
Artistic.
wife, right?
No. Ask me about the theater thing again.
Oh, how was doing theater? What was it like being
You
a
need
part
to
of?
have a fucking list of questions that you've researched.
What was it like being a part of off Broadway?
I really loved doing theater work.
I mean, was the hope for it to go to Broadway?
No one had any inkling because Dave Malloy, who wrote Great Comet, he is like not a Broadway guy.
But isn't that like the end game? Like for everyone
for
that
some
does...
people, but not for all people. Not for all people who are in the theater. Some people are like more.
Well, I mean, just like the way I see it, like you get this gig and it's like $300 a week, right? And
yeah. For people who work for like musicians,
like for you,
people, yes,
yeah,
yes.
Like you were hoping that eventually it was going to move.
Well,
forward.
no, because that wasn't even a part of like anyone's idea that it would ever go that far. It was like a very site-specific, like immersive theater.
Oh, so you were just doing it
I was just doing it because it was a gig.
It was
and
a
then
gig.
when I signed up for it, it was just a gig, and then I really loved being a part of it. And then it moved from Ars Nova to they actually built this tent
right on 40
on 14th Street.
On 14th
under the High Line. And then they eventually moved that to 44th Street,
which is off Broadway.
Yeah,
that was
off Broadway.
That's where I saw it.
Yeah,
You had to wear that costume.
Yes, and then it eventually went to Broadway, and I like I said, I didn't do the show on Broadway, but I subbed a bunch, and I actually recorded the cast album. 16 months.
So you do Imani, you did Great Comedy, you do Imani,
Yeah.
you did Wolfpack, you do Wolfpack. Is that it?
No, I mean I try to be as busy as I can with. I think the trickiest thing right now for me to balance is like balancing my like more artistic.
It's gotta be your time, right?
My time and trying to find time to do like to move forward like as a musician and an artist.
What do you want to be doing? Like, what is your right? So like we all have things that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, even though Imani's a great gig and Wolfpack's a great gig, and like we all have things that we do for money that we enjoy doing. That's like our job.
Yeah.
But then I mean I know like everyone has some sort of artistic goal, whether it's like putting out records or touring under their own name, or like for example, like I like playing trombone for money, and that was always kind of a goal. And then now that I'm doing that, like trying to find ways to be artistically creative and expressive without like and now it's not so much about the money anymore, because like you have all these routes to make money. So like trying to figure out what you want to do for yourself.
Yeah.
Like what do you want for that?
Well, I mean, I want to pursue my own projects and get deeper into writing music and playing my own music which is like improvised,
Right.
Mostly. But I mean, my biggest thing is my project with Jeremy Jordan and our duo. Portmont. Yeah, it's called Portmont.
Okay.
And yeah, we had an awesome show at National Sawdust in April, and have another one coming up in about a week. We don't play in town that often.
You have a record though, right?
We have an EP that's coming out in
Okay.
a few months that we've finished mixing it. We have to get it mastered.
That'll be in the link.
Yeah.
It'll be out by then.
Yeah, and that's it's all of our original music. I think it's 3 tunes of mine and 2 tunes of Jeremy's. And
Right.
the idea with that one is to use that to then promote a full-length album.
Right. Is that kind of what that's kind of more of exactly what you want to be doing?
Yeah, I mean, my work with him and just like trying to get deeper into that world. I mean, and that's where it gets tricky because I feel like
It's like hip hop, classical.
it's like
jazz?
hip hop. It's like hip hop influence, electronica, jazz, classical.
everything.
It's like kind of like a melting pot because Jeremy he's like me on steroids. I mean, like if he's kind of like who I'm striving to be in a way musically because I want to get deeper into writing and improvising and
So it's like is that what you want to be doing? Like I guess like end game, like you want.
I mean, like Pipe Dream, yeah.
Yeah, I mean obviously we have all the things you gotta do.
Yeah.
But like like that's an outlet that you want to pursue to like it's to the end.
If by the end of my career I am working as a leader and making my living touring and
Right.
and then teaching also,
Right.
that would be a beautiful thing. But I mean, right now I'm trying to just focus on like making a living and then with the rest of my time trying to pursue my other musical interests.
And then you do some jazz work though, right? I mean, you
A
did.
bit. Yeah, I mean Charlie Rosen's band.
Right.
You know, that's probably like the closest I've come to playing like, straight ahead, legit
Right.
jazz stuff in a while. But for me, it's like the jazz stuff is more about like learning how to play it,
Right.
but then not necessarily like.
But you
making
love it
records.
though. Like,
I love it.
That's
with
what
every fiber in my being. I love it.
Right.
I love it so much.
That's
but
like-
it's almost like I just I try to study it.
Well, you're passionate about like most people are passionate about like a hobby because
Yeah.
it's not your
I would say that.
life's work.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like your career and your profession. So
But that's what the funny thing is we were talking about earlier, is that like I feel like a lot of people think of me in the classical world. They
As a
know
jazz
me
musician.
because of that.
So you've been playing music, I don't know, 20 years, something like that. When you're 32. Can you imagine doing anything else? Was there like anything else you ever wanted to do when you were younger?
I wanted to be a homicide detective.
Right, you love that stuff.
I really wanted to be in fact, it was weird because I wanted to be one when I was a kid. And then, like, obviously I got super serious about music. And then when I was at Michigan, for some reason, like, halfway through, I was like, I want to do that. Like,
You're
I
like
really-
fascinated by like crime.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I wanted to do that. But, no, I mean, no, it's really the only thing I was ever serious about. Yeah.
But I mean, like, there was never a time in your life where you were.
There were some times when I was like considering acting. You know, my mom was an actress.
Oh right, that's right. And your mom's best friend is she's like a.
My mom's one of her best friends. You know, they kind of they don't keep in touch as much. But Margot Martindale became a very
Right.
successful actress, Emmy winning, Tony winning.
We took an acting class together.
We took acting class together.
That was
I do a good De Niro.
Yeah, do it.
You, this fucking guy, yeah. Like you're sucking on a lemon. Get a suck on the lemon. Like that.
Yeah, like that. Perfect.
Killing it.
But why did you choose to do? I mean, obviously you took lessons when you were a kid.
Yeah.
But like, you know, a lot of people took lessons when they were a kid, and a lot of them didn't become musicians. So what was the thing? Like, what was that moment where you were like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm gonna do this forever.
Yeah. I don't think there was one defining moment, but I just the clarinet kind of like I just kind of gravitated closer and closer to it. Because at the time, and when I was 12, 13, I was into singing and musical theater and stuff like that. But the clarinet just kind of started to, I don't know, started to make more sense to me.
So everyone's, I mean, I don't know, maybe not for you, but where I'm from in Michigan, everyone who plays a woodwind instrument, like even like the saxophone players, they had to start on clarinet. Like that was like the rule.
Yeah.
So like in 5th grade, you got to choose an instrument, and everyone who wanted to play saxophone, right? They started on clarinet, and they used it as a way to weed out people that just wanted to like play saxophone, like but since you like jazz and you obviously started on clarinet, why didn't you switch to saxophone?
Well, I mean, I started learning the saxophone after sophomore year
Of high school.
of high school. My band director handed me a Mark 6 tenor, and he was like, learn this over the summer. And so I was at Interlocking studying clarinet, but I had this saxophone with me the whole summer, and I was like, I would sneak off, to like practice that, even though my teachers were like, don't do it, And my teachers up at Interlocking. And so I kind of learned how to play that summer, just literally no instruction, just fingering chart.
Right.
And so...
But like you love jazz.
I loved it, yeah.
Like why, was there ever a point where you considered, you were like, maybe I want to do saxophone instead of clarinet?
Yeah, I mean, I still think about that. I still think like, maybe, do you think it's too late? Like, what if I just like, if I didn't have any responsibility and I could just shed? Like if if somehow I like won some like grant or some crazy thing.
The lottery.
Like they'll pay your salary for 3 years to do whatever. I would maybe think about it, but there's a zillion saxophonists.
That's true.
And there's so many people who, to find a unique voice on the saxophone. It's not like I'm saying like, oh, this is an easier path. Right. But I think for me, like my voice at this point is on the clarinet. So I don't really, I mean, every time I go back to the saxophone, it's a lot of fun. Right. And it feels like really like fun and free. I mean, I don't have a lot of chops, but I think I have the sound in a way. I have a decent sound.
Yeah.
And, I love playing it, but it doesn't really like speak to me. And also like I'm just much better.
Yeah, I guess so. I was just wondering because clarinet's always struck me as like I don't know, like it's a specialty kind of thing. Yeah. Where like everyone plays it at some point. Yeah. Like that plays a woodwind instrument. Yeah. But very few people
like go with it.
Play clarinet to play clarinet. They start on it and they have it as a double and they use it as a stepping stone to play saxophone.
Yeah, and I think the reasons for that, I mean, are historical. Partly, when Sadie Bechet, took to the soprano saxophone, and like the whole lineage of saxophone
comes from
jazz. Like it kind of like by the end of the 30s and into the 40s, like saxophone was it, and then Bird obviously took it so much further. There are a bunch of amazing jazz clarinetists. People like Buddy DeFranco, and then like the Paquito and Eddie Daniels and those guys. Like that's why I fell in love with this in an improvised context.
Oh, okay. Like so it was like
Don Byron, like
like hearing them,
yeah, like listening to their
jazz clarinet,
hearing their records when I was a kid was like super inspiring. And like, yeah, I mean, I was inspired more by those guys.
And you play with Paquito, right?
I have just a little bit, not much, but he's a good friend of the group. But
that's
I've jammed with him, but not really performed with him. But anyway, yeah, it's But I like I was exposed to those guys before, like the old school clarinet players,
like Benny Goodman. And
I mean, I heard Benny, but yeah, like Artie Shaw, but like even Johnny Dodd, and also just other like great black clarinet players like Johnny Dodds and Jimmy Hamilton and stuff, and Sidney Bechet and stuff.
Right.
Like I didn't really learn about those guys until much later.
Oh, okay.
Which is I kind of figured things out in reverse.
Right.
Which is I don't know if that was the right way to do it, but
I mean whatever works for you. There's no set way. Yeah. What is it about music that makes it fulfilling to you as like a career choice and a life choice and something that you can be happy to do forever with no regrets?
Man, that's a really tough question to answer. I think I don't think I've ever been happy with the notion of music not being my life. Like I can't really envision it any other way. I can't necessarily tell you everything I love about being a musician, or I think there's days where I don't necessarily love being a musician.
Yeah, there's
but I
definitely days.
love music, And I remember hearing a piece of advice from very famous clarinetist. He said, if you're okay, if you feel good taking a day off from music, you shouldn't be doing it. And I have never
I don't feel
felt that way.
I feel great taking days off.
So, if you ask me, what do I love about music? I love the way it makes me feel. I love the openness of it. I love that there is something for everyone, and I love the way that the music that I love makes me feel. I feel a very specific way when I'm listening to like a Brahms symphony, as opposed to like when I'm listening to a Love Supreme, Crescent. It's like I can just like, I don't have synesthesia. Like I can't see colors or hear colors. But I feel like I know exactly the feeling that I get when I listen to
a certain
Coltrane, or when I listen to Dilla, or when I listen to Donny Hathaway, or listen to Brahms or Stravinsky. Like they all kind of have this thing that resonates with me. So, I love being like engulfed in that.
How can people find you? How can people reach out to you? How can people see you perform and stuff like that?
So you can check me out on my website, markdovermusic.com, which I update all the time. Or even better on Instagram at markdovermusic. And
we'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, you put a link in there. Jeremy Jordan and I are a duo Portman. We're putting on an EP.
Oh, what's the name? Just so people can catch it. Portman. How do you spell that?
Port, like port, and Mond, Mande.
Okay.
And we have an EP coming out in the spring called Is This Loss? And it's all of our original music, 5 tracks. And the idea is to put out some videos and hopefully an album the next year or so too. So.
And then Imani.
Yeah, ImaniWins.com. You can check us out there for young musicians, college age and above. We have a chamber music festival called the Imani Wins Chamber Music Festival every summer at Manus College of Music, so you can look at ImaniWinsFestival.com if you're interested in that.
And then just perchance, if there's any potential students that would like to study with you, they can reach out to you.
If you're a student and you're interested in studying for undergrad or master's or doctoral at Rutgers University or at CUNY, Queens College. For Queens College, the DMAs are done through CUNY, not through Queens College. But you can email me about that, mark@imaniwins.com. Yeah.
Great.
I think that's about it.
So I've been subbed in to say thanks for being here, Mark. We really appreciate it.
Thanks
Paul. For being part of our show, for all the people out there. Jimmy says thanks, but he can't do this because,
Thanks for having me, man.
Did it.
Great.